guys, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the book series I have started, but I have not finished for one reason or another. There's quite a list here. I think I got them all. There's probably a few I might have missed, but you know, we're just gonna go with what I remember. These go from anything to books I haven't read, you know, like I started the series but I haven't continued them, and they're new books, to series I'm rereading. So I don't think there's many rereads on here, but either way, these are all the series that I have not finished yet. So it could also be considered the list of shame, but you know, who knows. So this doesn't include any books where I've caught up to the series as it's releasing. I have several of those where the series isn't done yet, but I've caught up to what has been published. Several series that come to mind that have that is the Legends of Lanneria series by Michaela Bush. I've caught up to that one. Also Midnight Hour series by Mackenzie Gray. I've caught up with that one. Yona of the Dawn, which is a manga series. I've caught up to Keeper of the Lost Cities, series like that where, yeah, they're still ongoing, but the next book isn't out yet. So yeah, none of those are on this list because I have caught up to them. So these are all books that are either fully published and I just haven't gotten to the end of them yet. They're still ongoing, but I haven't read one or two of the books or something like that, or they're just plain done and I'm slow. So yeah, anyways, let's just get right into what they are. This is gonna be a beast to edit, but you know, hey, who cares? So yeah, let's just get right into what the books are. The first one, these are in no particular order, but the first one I have on here is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've only read the first book. It is a trilogy. I am interested in continuing the trilogy. It's YA fantasy. And yeah, I really liked the first book, so yeah, I want to see how it continues. This one, a lot of these are on hold though because my library is still currently closed, so and I'm not buying all these books. So yeah, because if you watched my last video, that was talking about my space issues, so you know, and I don't really like buying books that I could potentially dislike, so yeah. So a lot of these series are on hold for that reason. So yeah, Caraval's the first one. Next one I have is the Supervillain Rehabilitation Project by H.L. Burke. This is the second book. I've only read the first book, so, and there's 5 books in this series, I think. So yeah, this is her adult superhero series, and yeah, I haven't continued. I've finished one of her superhero series, but yeah, I haven't continued this one. So yeah, there's that one. Also in the same vein, we have the Supervillain Romance Project series. This is book 4. This is the book I'm up to that I haven't continued yet. Yeah, yeah. There's really not much else to say except these are also adult superhero stories. Haven't continued. And the third one in that universe that I still haven't continued is the Superhero Romance Project series, and yeah, I've read the first book of that one, haven't continued any of the others because the Superhero Romance Project books, I don't have any of the others, I just have the first one. So yeah, the other 2 series, I have 2 and 3 of the rehabilitation one, and I have 4 and 5 of the romance one, so the supervillain romance one. So yeah, with those 2 I have more of the books, I just haven't been in the mood to continue them, so there they sit. So yeah, I have no excuses for any of these books that I haven't finished. It's just I haven't been in the mood for them, and I'm an excessive mood reader, so what are you gonna do with that? Okay, so then I have the first manga series on here, and that is Demon Slayer. I've only read the first 3 volumes of this one. It's kind of like a historical dark fantasy series. I wasn't highly impressed with the first 3 volumes, but I'm willing to continue for a little bit longer. I'm giving it to like volume 8 or 9, or giving it a decent chance into the series. However, this is one I have to get for the library, so that's also another reason I haven't continued. But yeah, I wasn't highly impressed with it, but I do want to at least continue it for a few more volumes because I know some series with manga, at least the experience I've had with them, is that sometimes it takes a little bit for them to get into their stride. So yeah, I still want to try that one, but it's also on hold because the library is closed. So yeah, but definitely gonna give that one a little bit more of a chance before I call it quits, but yeah. Okay, the next one is The City Between by W.R. Gingle. I believe this is like I think it's young adult. I think it's considered young adult. The main character is 17, so I would assume it's young adult. It's young adult urban fantasy. I've read the first book, Between Jobs. This is the second book with no number on the spine, which is kind of irritating, but yeah. I'm not sure, does it even say on the inside? Oh, okay, it does say on the for title page, so that's nice. At least it does say somewhere. So, that's nice. I wasn't even sure if it said it there. Anyways, they would have been easier if it was just on the spine, but whatever. But yeah, I haven't continued this one either, obviously. I haven't continued any of these. Why do I keep saying that? That is what this whole video is about. But anyways, yeah, I still super enjoyed the first book. It's a little weird. I'll give it that, if you're very violent. So, if you don't like violence and mentions of blood and stuff, I would steer clear of this series because it is not for you. But yeah, I'm still super excited to read this one when I get in the mood. When I get in the mood is for all of these. Okay, the next one I have is The Maiden Ship by, oh, I never know how to say the author's name, so here it is on the cover, because I don't know how to say her name, and I always feel bad, but I butcher it. But yeah, this one I'm currently actually, as of filming this, I'm currently reading the second book, which is The Lion of the Sea. So yeah, and it's a trilogy, so I have the whole thing, but yeah, I haven't continued this one. This one's also like young adult fantasy. It's like a seafaring adventure. It's really good. I've read the first book. I really liked it. So yeah, and I'm currently reading the second one as of filming this video, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah. Okay, the next one is The Heirs of Neverland by Kara Swanson. I've read the first book, Dust. I never did read the second book, Shadow. I really wanted to, but for the longest time my library didn't have it. They have it now. I can't get to it, of course, but yeah. But I still really want to continue this one because I do remember like where Dust left off, and I was always like, well, what's gonna happen? I will have to reread Dust in order to properly convey my feelings on them because I've forgotten stuff, I'm sure. But yeah, and I do find it easier, especially with series that I haven't reread or read in a while, if I pick up the next, if I reread the previous books before I pick up the next book, it's easier. Yeah, some books I didn't do that on, like with The Maiden Ship, I didn't go back and reread that one because I read that one last year, and I pretty much remembered most of what happened when I started the second book, so it wasn't a big deal. Some other things, but some other series which you're going to see with a couple of these, I think, on this list. I do want to reread the first few books just so I know what's going on and I don't end up being extremely confused. So yeah, Heirs of Neverland definitely falls into this, but it's only a duology, so that's no big deal. Okay, the next one is my series of shame. That is the Ilion Chronicles. Because this is one of those series where I have not read the original, or the first 5 books in a long time, so, or at least a couple years, so I want to reread them all. I also don't have any reviews for them on Goodreads, and I like to give them reviews and stuff for other people, so I'd like to do that before I read this one, and I yet have not been in the mood to read this series, which is kind of getting to be a pain at this point, but if I try to read books out of my mood, I generally don't like them or something, or I just push myself through them, so I don't want to do that, so that's why it's still sitting here. But anyways, this is like a new adult Christian fantasy, non-magical fantasy series, but yeah, I really love this series. It's like my top favorite series, Christian fantasy series, but yeah, haven't finished it because there's like 1 book, so, because the mood has to be there. Okay, the next one, which is another series I really want to continue but haven't been in the mood for, is the Elven Alliance series by Tara Grace. This is like, I think it's like adult, I think it's, yeah, it's adult. It's adult elven romance, it's clean. Yeah, I've read the first book, haven't continued. I started reading the second one, I think I read the first page at one point, but I wasn't in the mood, so I never continued. But thankfully I got most of the series on ebooks, so I do have a good chunk of them to continue. Just haven't yet, but yeah, I definitely want to get to this one because I really enjoyed that first book. Okay, then we have The White Road Chronicles by J.R. Castle. This one I've read the first book. It's a 6-book series. It's Christian, I believe it's allegory fantasy, but it is Christian fantasy. I really liked the first book, which was Illuminated. I haven't continued yet though because my library does not have this series. It's like a lesser known Christian fantasy series. But yeah, my library doesn't have it. I only have the first two books, but if I do like them when I want to get to rereading them, I will get the others just on ebook because they're cheaper and make sure I like them before I or like them enough to want to reread them a lot before I get the physical copies, which are a little more expensive. So yeah, I read the first book several years ago, so I definitely have to reread that one. So, but yeah, I did really enjoy it though. I just didn't at the time have the second book, so I never continued. So, yeah. And sort of on the similar vein, I have the third book of the Martin's Mark series. Book 3 isn't supposed another series with the number missing on the spine. Actually, because and on the back this one says it's book 2. It's not book 2. That's a misprint. I don't even know why it says that, but yeah. That's really irritating. Anyways, this is another Christian fantasy, lesser known. There's supposed to be 4 books. I don't know if the 4th book will ever come out, but currently the 3rd book's the last one. So I haven't continued it, obviously. That's why it's on this list. But yeah, this is definitely on the list. Just haven't gotten to it. Then I have the Classical Kingdom series by Brittany Fisher. This is just her fairy tale retelling series. I think most of them you don't have to read in order. There's a few of them you have to, but yeah, the most recent one I read was Cinder, Stars, and Glass Slippers, which, you know, if you've been on my channel for, I don't know, watch my last few videos, you know I've been raving about this book. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, I have only read about 4 books in this series. There's going to be 12. There's currently 11. But yeah, I definitely want to continue this one because I really like Brittany Fisher's writing. Just haven't. But these are all like Christian fantasy fairy tale retellings, and yeah, really enjoyed the ones I have read though. So definitely excited to read those when I get in the mood because that is what is driving this whole thing. Okay. And then I have my Air Force Fairy Tale series, which is also by Brittany Fisher. I only have 1 book left in this series that I haven't read. It's currently a trilogy. I think there's going to be a 4th one. But my library has it, so I haven't read it. But yeah, these are like Christian contemporary fairy tale inspired romances. But yeah, I just haven't gotten to it for that reason. I had it out once from the library, but then I wasn't in the mood for it, and I haven't finished it since, so there's that. And then I have the Firmament series by, J. Grace Pennington. That's it. I've read the first book of this one, which is Radialloy, I believe is how you say it. I actually don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. This is Christian sci-fi. I've read the first book. It's currently a 9-book series. I believe the whole series, at least according to Goodreads, is supposed to be like 17 books, I believe. There's currently 9 of them out. So I have no idea. But yeah, I really liked this one. Sci-fi is a very hard genre for me to like. Most sci-fi I don't like. I don't understand it, or I just don't like it, or it's too sciencey, so then I get lost, and I am not a science person, so, you know, that may make me dumb, but it's the truth. But yeah, so this one I really liked. I definitely compare it to, like, I call it like the Christian Star Trek. So like the original series of Star Trek. I've never watched any of the other Star Trek, so I have no context for the rest of it. But definitely if you like the original series, or even, I would probably assume it's even similar to Next Generation, that series, if you like Star Trek, I think you would like this series. It has a very similar vibe. And yeah, the sciencey stuff wasn't over the top for the first book, and I really enjoyed it. I would definitely have to reread the first book though, because I think it's been 3 or 4 years since I read the first book, and yeah, I have the second one, but yeah, I think this series is on Kindle Unlimited though. So yeah, if you're interested in Christian sci-fi and you just want to go read them and you have Kindle Unlimited, I'm pretty sure all 9 books are on there. So, but yeah, there's that one. Then we have I think it's just called the How We Rise trilogy by Brooke Riley. This is a very lesser known, independently published dystopian trilogy. I don't think it's Christian. The authors are Christian, but I don't think the series is. I read the first book because my library surprisingly had it, and I really liked it. Had a terrible cliffhanger though, an ending, so that's why I waited until the last 2 books were published, and I just haven't continued it yet. So, but I do really want to, because I really enjoyed the first book, except for that cliffhanger. I almost marked down my rating because of it, but I decided not to. But yeah, so yeah, I did really enjoy this one though. So it's kind of has a more contemporary flair to it. It's not like tons of time into the future. So it's kind of like a contemporary dystopian. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in continuing that one at some point. In the dystopian vein, I also have the Infidels books by Angela R. Watts. This is a Christian dystopian kind of thriller-esque series. It is very violent. If you can't tell from the cover of this book, this is the 3rd one. I've read the 4th one. I was a beta reader for the 4th one, but I haven't read the final version because I haven't gotten a copy of it yet. So, and then there's like a handful of like novellas and short stories and stuff that I haven't read. But definitely I would have to reread the first 3 books of this series. So yeah, but yeah, definitely like PG-13 level violence and stuff like that. Lots of talk about human trafficking, things like that. If you're more of a light reader, this series is not for you. But yeah, but it is really good if you can handle some tougher topics. We have I actually have no idea what this series is called. I don't think it's the Fairy Gate series, but anyways, it's yeah, it's this series where The Glass Gate is the last book I have in this one. It's a Cinderella retelling, has to do with like Irish fairy tale folklore. I did try another book in this series called The Wolf Gate. I hated it. And I did originally have the first book, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but I got rid of it because Beauty and the Beast retellings and I don't get along. So, and after reading The Wolf Gate, I kind of lost my interest of wanting to read these. They're kind of like cozy-esque fairy tale, Irish fairy fae inspired type stories. I don't know. I still gotta try The Glass Gate because it's a Cinderella retelling and I just want to try that one. But yeah, that's the only one in the series I'm interested in trying at this point. So that just has 1 book. And the next one is Purple Moon by Tessa Emily Hall. I don't know what the series is called but there is a sequel to it called Fallen Leaves. I have it. I haven't read it, obviously. But yeah, this is like young adult Christian contemporary. Not normally my genre, but I read this book a long time ago. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, I definitely want to reread this one, see if I still like it, and then read the sequel. But yeah, this one's just a duology as far as I know. The next one I have is the Fairy Tale Adventure series by A.G. Marshall. I'm not interested in all the books in this series. They're fairy tale retellings, fantasy. So yeah, I've read the first one, which was Princess of Shadows, I believe. It was okay. I didn't really care much for it or the characters, but I have heard the second book, Princess of Secrets, is like the best one in the series. So I have that one, and I have the Princess of Mermaids, I think it's called. It's the Little Mermaid one. So yeah, I wasn't interested in her Beauty and the Beast one because Beauty and the Beast. And I think there's a Cinderella one in that series, but I want to see if I like these 2, and if I do, I'll probably just leave it at that. So yeah. The next one is also a fairy tale retelling series. That is the Kingdom Chronicles. This is a series by Camille Peters. I've read Turret in this series. They're just a bunch of random, I think they're just, I don't know if they're random, but they're just, I think they're also just like standalone fairy tale retellings. I have a few on ebook. I'm interested in some of the other ones. My library had a few, so yeah, I do want to, I'm not going to read all of them in the series because some of them just don't interest me, but yeah, most of them I do want to try to read, so there's that series. Then for the next one, which is the Kingdom Tales, literally I had to look up Kingdom Chronicles and Kingdom Tales to make sure that the series, I had the correct authors with them because they're so close in titles. But anyways, the Kingdom Tales series is by Deborah Grace White. I read one of the books in the series, which was Kingdom of Slumber, which is the second book. Didn't read the first one because, guess what? It was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I don't like those. So, but these pretty much act as standalones, so it was fine. But, yeah, I do want to try at least 1 or 2 more in this series. I have the third one, I think it is, on ebook. So I have another one to try, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying out. It's the only book I've read by this author, so I'm still trying her out to see if I even like her writing and stuff like that. So yeah, I enjoyed Kingdom of Slumber, but I don't know about the rest of them, so we'll have to see. We have the okay. This one's kind of an interesting one because the second book isn't out yet, but it does have a companion novella, so I'm mentioning it. That is The Kings of Esselvia by H.S.J. Williams. The second book is not even out yet. I think she's still writing it, or she has it with beta readers right now. So, yeah, technically I'm caught up on this series. However, there is a novella called, I think it's Prince of Crown and Sea. I don't forget the title. I'm going to put the cover up here to show you. It's a novella that talks about one of the characters in Moonscript. It's kind of like a prequel to this one, but it has the series title of Crowns of Esselvia, so I don't know if she's just doing a novella series that's separate from this one, but tied to it, that sort of thing. But I do have that one. It is tied to the series, so that's why I put it on this list, even though technically, by having read Moonscript, I am caught up to what has been published in this series. So yeah, these are Christian fantasy. I think, I'm not sure if they're labeled as young adult or adult. Sometimes with these indie published books, they kind of like cross lines. So yeah, but yes, definitely either age demographic could read them. But yeah. But yeah, that's why I have it on this list, even though it's technically just a companion novella, but it's part of a series, so I put it on here. Okay, then this one, I do not know what the series is called, because this book is separate, but there are sequels to it. That is The Dark King and the Eternal Dance. I know this book is part of the Villains Ever After series. However, it has a sequel that is called The Wolf's Golden Deception. I'll put the cover here. And there's going to be another book in that series and they tie to this one, to characters in this series. This is like technically the first one. So, but I forgot the series title name, so it's on the cover of this book if you can see it. But yeah, I do have that. I really liked this book by Alicia Adamson, so I really wanted to continue, and she seems to be continuing that as a series, so yeah, I definitely want to read that. Because I think the next one, which is, it has something to do with it's like a retelling of the Minotaur, the Labyrinth from Greek mythology and stuff. I forget the exact title, so I'm not going to say it, but I think it comes out this month in April, so yeah, so that's exciting. But yeah, I definitely want to read The Wolf's Golden Deception first and make sure I, like it. I mean, still like it, because I really like this book, and I might reread this book just because. So yeah, but I don't know what the series is called, so sorry about that. This one, I also don't think, this one doesn't have a series title, nor does it have numbers on the spine. Again. And that is the Winter, White, and Wicked duology by Shannon Ditmore. This is young adult fantasy. Yeah, Rebel, Brave, and Brutal is the second book in the series. The first book is Winter, White, and Wicked. I will definitely have to reread that one before I read this one, which I pre-ordered last year in February, and I still haven't read it. So yeah, because I haven't been in the mood again, so this is turning into a theme. But yeah, so yeah, duology, so it's on this list, but I have to reread the first book because there is no way I'm gonna remember everything to even think about what is going on in here. Then I have a series I sort of restarted because I reread the first book because I hadn't read it in quite a few years, and that is the Winnies on the Wind series by Angela Dorsey. This is a middle grade wilderness adventure dash of supernatural type series. Yeah, this is a horse book series. I've read the first 4 books. There are 9. I have not continued it, obviously, but yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to continue this. I want to read everything that Angela Dorsey has written because I really like her writing style and stuff. She's one of the middle grade authors that I actually like. So yeah, definitely this one's on the list. Just haven't continued it. That's why it's on this list. So, okay, and the other manga series that's on here is My Happy Marriage. The volume 4 is out of this one. I just don't have it. So that's why I haven't continued with it, and I don't know when volume 5 is coming out. It's listed on Goodreads, but there's no date with it, so I have no idea. But this is like another historical fantasy type, beautiful artwork. Does have some kind of rough themes of like mental, physical, and emotional abuse and stuff, and our main character working through that. So there might be some triggers for that for some people, but yeah, I really love this series. My friend gifted me with the first 3 volumes last year, so yeah, I just haven't gotten the 4th one, so that's why I haven't continued. Then I have the Court of Midsummer Mayhem series by Tara Grace. I read the first book. Technically, I've read the first 2 books, which is Stolen Midsummer Bride and Bluebeard and the Outlaw. I've read those. I haven't continued, obviously, because the next one is, what is it called? I forget what it's called. Anyways, the cover's right here, so you will see the title that I cannot remember for something. Scarlet something. Anyways, there it is. Yeah, I definitely want to continue this. This is I actually don't know what age demographic this one is either. It's somewhere between young adult and adult. They're like, they're fae romances, but they're also like retellings of Shakespeare, which I know nothing about because I don't do Shakespeare. So yeah, because like Stolen Midsummer Bride is a retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Bluebeard and the Outlaw is not. That's a combination of Bluebeard and the fairy tales of Bluebeard and Robin Hood. So that one's kind of outside of that. And I think this one, of which I still can't remember the title as of now, is Actually, I think this one's a retelling of Scarlet Pimpernel. I don't know if it has anything to do with Shakespeare, but the next book has something to do with Shakespeare, so I have no idea. They're retellings of stuff. They're fae romances that are retelling things, okay? That is all I know. But yeah, I really liked Stolen Midsummer Bride. I really liked the Bluebeard and the Outlaw, so yeah, very interested to continue these books as well. Okay, then we have the Tales of Ambia series. I read The Reluctant Godfather in February of this year, and I really enjoyed that. This is by Alison Tebow. These are little tiny fairy tale retelling stories. Yeah, I'm very curious to continue this series, but I have to buy the ebooks, and I haven't done that yet. So, but yeah, I definitely want to continue this one. I have heard The Reluctant Godfather is the best one in the series. The rest of them aren't as good, but that doesn't matter. I'm just gonna try them anyways because they're cute, they're fun little like palette cleanser type books. So yeah, I definitely still want to try them. Okay, we have 2 more series left. Actually, this isn't that long of a video. That's nice. Okay, so the next one is it's a multi-author series, so it's not technically a series where they all connect together, but I'm putting it on here because it is one, and that's the Once Upon a Prince series. I have read 2 books in this series so far. I've read this one, The Crownless Prince by Selena R. Gonzalez. Love this one. And I also read The Midnight Prince by Angie, can't say her last name. But anyways, I'll put the cover up here briefly. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one too. So yeah, I definitely want to try most of the rest of the books in that series. There's a few that I'm not interested in at all. One of them, because I heard that the main characters are rather mean towards each other at first, which is the King Thrushbeard retelling one. I don't really care for enemies to lovers anyways, so that one was just kind of like, fine, I'll just skip that one. But most of the other ones I have on ebook, so yeah, I definitely want to try the ones that I'm interested in on this one, but I'm not obligating myself to continue the whole, or read the whole series because they're all different, so it doesn't really matter. And the last series I have on here is actually mostly a reread. Actually, yeah, they would probably all be rereads, and that is the Thoroughbred series, originally by Joanna Campbell, but also then by a million other ghostwriters later on. I started rereading this series again because it's part of I'm trying to reread books that I have and see if I want to keep them because I'm running out of space. Check out my last video if you want to know more details on that. But anyways, so yeah, this was the other, if you watched that video that I mentioned in there that I wanted to put another middle grade series on the shelf, this was the series I was thinking of, so yeah. Definitely have started to reread this one. So far so good. One of the books is just so at this point, mainly because it's extremely sad. But the rest of them so far I have been enjoying. So yeah, and I just smacked myself because that's what I do. But anyways, yeah. And that is the last book on the list. Yeah, obviously every time I start a series that I'm going to continue, I will put it on this list. Aside from one or two. Like, I've also started the Magic on Main Street series by K.M. Shea. Because my family and I are buddy reading those books. It's the next Magic Ford series, but I'm not going to put it on the list because I know we're going to finish it. So, yeah, so there's not going to be any long delays between books and stuff like that. So I'm not bothering to put that one on the list. But most of the other ones, I will, once I start them, I will put them on the list, and then when I finish them, I'll cross them off. I actually have quite a few crossed off here. Either some of them because I decided I wasn't going to continue them, or because I actually did finish them, so, or I caught up to what was published. So yeah, that is the video. Those are all the series I have not continued. Like I said before, there could be a few I'm missing, but that's it as far as I know. So yeah, and that is plenty, especially because a lot of these books I have to reread stuff beforehand because I haven't read them in so long. But that's fine too, because then I get to revisit stories I like, and then if I reread them and realize I don't like them, I can get rid of them and pass them on to somebody else who will like them. So yeah, either way it works. So yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you guys want to spill the beans on how many series you're behind on, or haven't caught up to, or haven't continued, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. Even a few, you can just leave a number, you can leave none, because you know, maybe you're really good and you like catching up on series. I used to be one of those people where I just read a series all at one time. I did that recently, back in March, which you'll hear about in my March reading wrap up, but yeah, I haven't done that in a long time. That was the first time where I was just like, wow, okay, I just read the whole trilogy in 1 month. That's rare. But yeah, I used to do that all the time. I don't anymore because apparently my mood doesn't do that anymore. Apparently it's not fashionable enough for my mood or something. Whatever. Anyways, but yeah, if you're one of those lucky people who can do that, I applaud you, because I used to be one of them and I'm not anymore. So yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.